Unemployment is above 9%. America needs jobs. We all know it. And the Republicans know it, too. So they made it their rallying cry during the 2010 campaign.
We are determined to fight for the future of the American people, to create jobs.
Where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? Americans are still asking the question, where are the jobs?
But then they got elected and they changed their tune. They didn't propose a single jobs bill. Instead, they started talking about something entirely different.
We will continue to fight for the deepest spending cuts that we can get.
We voted to cut spending.
We are about accomplishing major spending cuts.
So just spending cuts. It's all they care about anymore. Yesterday, Senator Jon Kyl called for $2.5 trillion in cuts in exchange for raising the debt ceiling. But while spending cuts may be dominating the national conversation about our economy, they simply don't create jobs. In fact, they usually cost us jobs. But don't worry, President Obama says job creation is his top concern.
There are too many people out there who are still out of work. That's unacceptable to me. It's unacceptable to all of you. So we've got to do everything we can, everything in our power, to strengthen and rebuild the middle class.
But just last night, the White House rejected the Senate Democrats' new jobs bill, complaining that it was too expensive. It was $200 million more than the White House wanted. Not billion, million. That's nothing compared to the cuts that they're making, but even that was too much for the White House. I honestly don't know what they're thinking there, but some progressives in the country do get it. The folks at MoveOn.org are trying to bring the conversation back to jobs. They just announced their Rebuild the Dream rally to push the message that we don't need cuts as much as we need jobs for the middle class. Now, here's a crazy political idea in the middle of a horrible economy. Ignore what the Republicans want you to do and propose a massive jobs bill instead. I know people in Washington will lose their minds. Here's my question. So what? Remember, you want to appeal to the American people. Who cares what Washington thinks? All right, joining me now is Jared Bernstein. He's a former chief economist from Vice President Biden. He's now senior fellow with the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. Now, Jared, I read your pieces. I know that you think jobs is the right way to go. We're going to talk about that in a second. But you were inside the White House. I got to ask you, why isn't this as clear to them, seemingly, as it is to us from the outside?
I think it is as clear to them. I think that they are stuck in a box where one side is saying cut spending this much and the other side is saying, oh, that's too much, let's cut spending less than that. I think that the kind of pivot to deficit reduction has really taken hold in this town, and there are lots of folks who believe that the message of the 2010 loss for Democrats in the midterms was a message to cut spending. But in fact, as you heard the president say, there is a very strong belief within the White House still that we've got to still do everything we can on the jobs front while we're kind of walking and chewing gum at the same time, while we're planning
but how do you do that?
path
Look,
to budget deficit.
You know, the thing is, Jared, I mean, look, should we concentrate on jobs, the fact that they kind of understand that? Of course, you've got 9% unemployment. I mean, my God, of course you should concentrate on that. But it seems like from your description and from their description so often, it's as if they're powerless. Oh, they're caught in this Washington bubble. What are they going to do? We can't get out, right?
Well, I think,
but they're I mean, he's the president of the United States of America. They control the White House.
So, Jay,
can't you do something?
You have a great point. And look, these things are dynamic. And what may have been a reasonable position a month ago strikes me as morphing into a much less reasonable position now. So I'm with you, and I'm with Move on this point. But I'd like to take it a little further. You know, there's 20 million people out there who are or underemployed, and I guarantee you they're not all liberal Democrats. Why is it just a MoveOn.org rally to create jobs? Why not, instead of a Tea Party, a jobs party, a movement across political interests that really has jobs at the heart of what they're about right now? Because I guarantee you a deficit spending cut kind of agenda in the short run, aggressive cuts to spending, getting rid of Medicare, the whole Republican agenda right now can't be resonating with the American people who really believe that jobs are the biggest problem out there. So I'd like to see this go way beyond MoveOn.org.
You know, of course. I mean, the Republicans won the 2010 election by pretending that they were going to create jobs.
Right.
So obviously, conservative voters, independent voters, we all care about jobs. Now, you've got a proposal of your own. Let me just summarize it for the folks at home real quick. You've got fiscal relief for the states. You've got infrastructure investments, protecting entitlements, and balancing between revenues and spending cuts and budget negotiations, right? So. Right. Now, that seems like a very reasonable proposal. Again, why doesn't it get a hearing at the White House. I mean, you were just at the White House.
Okay, I think that it's very possible that that kind of an agenda starts to get more of a hearing now. Now, you just had this 1 month of a very tough jobs report, but you know, the way I look at it, average it into the past few months, and maybe it isn't as bad as it looked in May, but we're still growing much too slowly. So I think we really have to press for this agenda, for the White House and the Congress, because it's got to happen together, to really pivot towards this focus and target on the budget deficit to the jobs deficit now. That doesn't mean that you abandon your path to budget sustainability. It means that you look at the kind of issues that you just listed off. I think those are all on the list of coulds, things we actually could do if we put our political shoulder to the wheel on it.
All right, Jared Bernstein, thank you for your time tonight, and we hope that your former employers are listening.